Cowboy lost a bet, forced to marry a mysterious stranger. The truth left everyone speechless. I burst through the saloon door with a thunderous crack that silenced the rowdy crowd for a split second. Blood trickling warm and sticky from the fresh gash on my forehead. My Colt revolver was still smoking in my holster. The acrid scent of gunpowder clinging to me like a bad memory from that skirmish just outside Dusty Ridge. Damn rustlers had ambushed me on the trail, thinking they could steal my last head of cattle. I'd dropped one with a clean shot, but the other grazed me before hightailing it into the night. Now, here I was, Jack Harlan, staggering into the Rusty Spur Saloon, the one place in this godforsaken town where a man could drown his demons in whiskey and cards. The air hit me like a punch-stale beer mixed with desperation. The floor sticky under my boots from spilt drinks and who knows what else. Chairs lay splintered from a fresh brawl, bottles shattered like broken promises across the scarred wooden bar. Men hollered and laughed, their faces flushed red under the dim lantern light. But I could feel their eyes on me, sizing up the bloodied cowboy who'd just walked in like he owned the joint. At 30, I'd earned my reputation, broad-shouldered, rugged from years breaking broncs and herding cattle across endless prairies. Women back in Abilene used to say my piercing green eyes could melt ice. But tonight, fury and cheap rock gut blurred everything under my dusty Stetson. Sun-weathered skin pulled tight over high cheekbones, and my jaw was set like a loaded spring. Harlan, drag your sorry hide over here. We need a real player to spice up this pot. Buck Riley's voice boomed from the corner poker table, cutting through the chaos like a bullwhip. Buck was an old trail boss I'd ridden with years ago, his grizzled beard hiding a perpetual scowl, but there was a glint of mischief in his bloodshot eyes. He slapped the table, scattering chips, and the other players' roughnecks, like Slim Tucker. The lanky blacksmith with hands like anvils, and old Doc Hargrove. The town sawbones who gambled away his patience fees-grinned like coyotes spotting fresh meat. I gripped the bar to steady myself, my rage-fueled haze making the room spin. Ghosts haunted me tonight, lost comrades from the war, faces of brothers buried in shallow graves on forgotten battlefields, and the endless trails that led nowhere but loneliness. My last $50 burned in my pocket like a lifeline, all that stood between me and starving on the range. But pride, that damnable cowboy pride, pulled me toward the table. "Deal me in," I growled, dropping into the empty chair with a thud. Across from me sat Viper Kane, the sharp-dressed gambler who'd slithered into town a month back. His snake-like eyes gleamed cold under a slick black hat, and his venomous smirk made my trigger finger itch. "Think you can handle the heat, cowboy? Or are you all bluff?" he drawled, shuffling the deck with fingers that moved like striking rattlers. The cards flowed like whiskey down a parched throat, my stack swelling at first. A pair of aces here, a flush their look, teased me with fleeting victories, my bravado peaking as I slapped down bets like I was invincible. Buck whooped, clapping my back, and even Slim nodded approval, his deep voice rumbling. "That's the Harlan I know, guts and glory." But the tide turned viciously, as it always does in these hellholes. By midnight, the whiskey had turned bitter in my gut, and I'd lost it all. My savings, my prized Winchester rifle that had saved my hide more times than I could count, and even my loyal stallion, Thunder, the only companion who'd never let me down. Broke and seething, I stared at the empty spot where my chips had been, my heart pounding like war drums. Viper leaned in with a predatory grin, his breath reeking of cigars and deceit. "One final hand, Harlan. I'll front you 200. Win it all back or pay the price. My gut twisted like barbed wire. Doubts screaming in my head, but pride and liquor silenced them. The saloon fell silent, as graves as the cards were dealt, every eye on us. I flipped my hand, a straight flush, hearts pounding in my chest like thunder. Victory sweet, elusive victory. But Viper's laugh echoed like a death knell as he revealed a royal flush, perfect and mocking. The wager's twist hit me harder than any bullet. I had to wed the enigmatic widow, Eliza Thompson, by week's end, or face exile as a welcher, my name dragged through the mud from here to the Rockies. Eliza, ... I'd heard whispers about her. A stunning mixed heritage. Woman with caramel skin that glowed like desert sunset and fierce hazel eyes that could pierce a man's soul. Widowed in a brutal raid 8 months back. Comanche, they said. Though rumors swirled it was white outlaws in disguise, she was a symbol of quiet resilience amid the town's ugly prejudices. Folks called her the mystery widow, her Creole roots from down Louisiana way adding to the enigma. But in Dusty Ridge, a divided frontier town split by old grudges and new greed, marrying her was seen as the ultimate humiliation for a white cowboy like me.